Welcome again to another episode of The Poetry. Tonight, we're going to hopefully have a special guest, but I won't tell you who that is until later. It's a mystery, it's a secret. But I'm going to share one of my pieces with you. I think you've heard it before, but I'm truly trying to get it out there. It's called Renegers. Now, y'all know what to renege means. That means to go back on a promise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go back on your word. Yeah.
Exactly. So I thought about my experiences over life and how many times people have said stuff to me, and then when you look around, it's not there and they're not there. I'm sorry. You look around for, folk that say they're going to help you out and they're going to be there for you, or they're going to take care of this problem, this issue, and you find out that they did not. But you keep putting your trust out there. Mm-hmm. So one day I was sitting, I guess I got a little peeved about it, and so I wrote this piece called Renegers. And the thing about it, they don't like to use the term anyway, so that's why I put re in front of it. Okay?
Yes.
So this is my story about renegers. Now, for those who don't know what a reneger is someone who takes and covets and never gives. Any black person who's been given some slack, who forgot where he came from and hasn't given back, like hanging out with white folks and laughing at their jokes about us being clowns, buffoons, and messed up on coke. Renegers even have a hand in our abusing the drugs. Any talk on the issue is swept under the rugs. They say they have us buying back our hair, our demeanor and flair. Ask one to do his job, he punk out and get scared.
That's all right.
I had it ready. Let's start with, ask one to do his job, he punk out and get scared. His only concern is to keep his job, and he'll stand back and watch while you get robbed. Renegers even cause mental blocks for those with dreadlocks, making one go off half-cocked, not knowing why they tread, thinking. Maybe because they just like having a nappy head. Or they're practicing disestablishmentarianism, and instead of being a productive and constructive citizen, winding up in the prison system. Reneging on life because life is doing them. Some were placed in positions of power to make a difference, but when called upon, renegers be stiffened. Concerned there isn't enough for everybody, so stop riffing. He's got his, and that's all that matters. Likes to throw a little token just to see everyone scatter. When I think back on those who had integrity and wisdom and were killed for it, if for no other reason, these people were filled with courage and the thirst for justice. They sacrificed their lives to make ours more precious. We've reneged on our promise to keep the dream alive. All we've managed to do is to eke out a life and just barely survive. You people in power, moderators of our future, be careful of the temptations that rule you. We sit back and opinionate about the atrocities of our ancestors, yet continue the flow of madness that seems to haunt us. Renegers only look out for themselves, afraid someone else will acquire more of the wealth and will be a threat to your overall health. They get in the way of those wanting to get ahead. You'll even find them with dreads in their head. But knowing mentally they're not on your side, forgetting affirmative action and foregoing pride, hating on you for telling the truth about things, worrying more about the ramifications the truth brings. Rather than work towards some real solutions, we make up metaphors to live by and formulate delusions. When we renege, there are penalties to pay. Do some real work. We don't have time to play. There are locks on opportunities' doors, and nobody's looking out for us anymore. Thank you very much. Our next reader for this evening will be Mrs. Johnson. Would you come to the... Oh, my apology.
What's up? It's in the book. Rosa.
Well, I don't have...
It's in the book.
My apology.
All right,
Ms. Rosewellow's, I apologize.
No, start again. Reintroduce. Okay.
So our next reader for this evening will be Ms. Rosa Wellens. Our next reader will be Ms. Rose Wellens.
All right.
Let's have some love. Show some love.
Do I have to come up?
Yes, ma'am. You okay?
You want a chair?
Do you need a chair?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Your voice is so soft, so you need the mic.
Give her the mic. Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to say one thing before I read this.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rosa Wellman, and this poem is about from Michael A. Nelms, and it's called Smile. I've had some tragedies, in the last couple of years, and in my immediate family, my granddaughter, 29 years old, she dropped dead, and I'm going to tell you why. Some people don't like to tell things. They are ashamed to tell things that happen. But do you know that things happen in the world we don't know? We can't control everything. But you know what? We can just give everything to God and let Him. My granddaughter was 29 years old. And 2 years ago, nobody in my immediate family had passed yet. And I know it's some kind of drug or something that they call, some drug that they have here now. And I don't know if she was experimented on or what. But she died. She took the drug, and my son thought she had just dropped dead. But the drug took her away right away. She was 29 years old, and that's the first person in my immediate family that had died, and it was my granddaughter. And so I'm getting over it. I'm trying each and every day, but I know that this poem will help me, and it will help somebody else.
Amen.
Amen.
Let's go. Amen.
Who would have thought in all the who would have thought in all the world that the most powerful medicine would be contained in a smile? A newborn smile is an innocent smile and softens the toughest of hearts. A smile breaks across face and gives way to laughter. Isn't it funny how a smile can brighten even the bleakest of days? Whether it's narrow or wide, you can't hide it inside. A smile is a smile, it shines so bright. It reminds us no matter how old we get, inside us beats the heart of a child. Don't worry, it won't forget. It won't. If you've forgotten how. Just reach down deep for your inner child. From the deepest, you can muster a smile. They come in all shapes and sizes. Some show just lips, others flash deep, pearly eyes, white. Some smile a smile with two teeth. Some smile with glassy eyes and rosy of cheeks. Curiously peaks is this cat eat a canary. I know what's behind chestnut cat smile. Mm-hmm. He's in touch with the inner child. So on those days when you find it hard to muster a smile, remember that the cat and find your inner child and smile. Beautiful smile.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
for
much.
sharing. That was a nice reading.
It was nice. That was real nice.
I don't know any of you who know Michael Nelms. He's a Baltimorean, and that's one of his first books. We have some others that are local up here, and I've been sharing some of their work as well. The next person, all right, our singer, Miss Paula Casey, is going to he's got the whole world in his hands.
You and I.
Okay.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
He's got the
Little bitty baby in his hands. He's got a little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me in his hands. He's got you and me in his hands. He's got you and me in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
whole world.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
He's got the whole world
In his hands, he's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.
Thank you. have a guest in our audience, and we're going to give him an opportunity to speak. He is running for delegate in Baltimore, and I would like, this is going to be a little different than what we normally do, so I want to support our young people, especially because we know we need some change in those rooms. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So just get on right where the karaoke machine is.
Should I say it or say it? What's
You'd rather sit?
Yeah, I can sit.
You want to sit?
So, Mr. Boston Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your platform and what makes you feel that we should vote for you?
I would be delighted. Thank you very much for having me this evening. It's a pleasure to be with you. I am Terrell Boston Smith. I grew up over in West Baltimore in the 2300 block of Briggs Avenue. My mom had multiple sclerosis, and so my aunts and my grandparents helped to raise me. And my mom worked for the IRS. And so at a certain point, she had to retire on disability. And so every once in a while, because of the illness, she would fall. And if my aunts or my grandparents weren't there, then I would knock on my neighbor's door, and they would, one of the guys most often would come over and they would help lift her up. And what that taught me was that when we all take care of each other, we all do well. And that's been a lesson that I have felt blessed to be able to carry with me throughout most of my life. I went to right across the street over here at Mount Royal. I went there for middle school. I'm hopeful that my daughter's going to start there in the summer in pre-K. So if you could say a prayer for that, we'd hope. Yeah. I believe in public schools. I went to Walbrook for a year. I graduated from City. This is my home. This is where my family is. And so I'm running because I think we need more people fighting for us, more people who are thoughtful, engaged in the process, and making sure that the city is getting a real investment in its schools, in public safety. So not just having officers who are around, but actually doing their job, and making sure they have the resources to do their job and protect people. And then also making sure the officers aren't doing their job, aren't around. And a part of that is the responsibility of the state, so that's why that's important. The other parts is the state readjust how it funds education through the Kerwin Commission. That's got to be something that we advocate for the nuances for Baltimore City. And we heard a lot about over the winter why some kids having to go to school with gloves and hats and coats on.
Yeah.
The reason that that's important is because the way the state funds capital projects for schools, the way it's done is inherently unfair to Baltimore City.
Yeah.
So if a boiler costs $100, the way the state does it is they'll give you that $100 over 3 years. So you get $33 every year for 3 years. Well, that boiler is going to be more expensive after the third year or the fourth year. And other counties who have a bit more affluence, will upfront that money, and then they recoup it over the 3 years. And so we need folks who are aware of those nuances, are advocating for changes in special circumstances for Baltimore, and work for that. And the other thing is making sure buses run on time. We talked a little bit earlier about how folks who are trying to get to work are having trouble because of the new schedule, the railroad not being closed. It's not fair, and it's particularly disadvantage for Baltimore because so many people have to use mass transit. But it's important to have a good mass transit system because it's how we create jobs in a regional way. And so we can't expect everybody to come work in the city, and we can't expect everybody who lives in the city to go work in the city. So we got to make sure people can move through and move efficiently. And then the other two most important things are making sure we're taking care of our seniors, making sure that you have the resources and things you need, and that there's special recognition through the Attorney General's Office, Consumer Protection, making sure our seniors aren't getting taken advantage. And then the other thing that particularly dear to me is jobs. The city and the state have a special responsibility to grow small businesses and to make sure that it's not investing in businesses below Baltimore Street, Amazon or those sort of things, but really growing small businesses and making sure that people who are from here and a part of the community can get jobs. One of the most shocking statistics for me is that in parts of Baltimore, particularly West Baltimore, their unemployment rates for young men at 20 to 24 or 25%. And that's my brothers, my cousins, our grandsons, our nephews. And so if we're not employing young people, then how do they take themselves out to go get something to eat? How do they go on dates? How do they begin to take care of their family? And then how do they also begin to buy a house? And so one of the most important priorities is being able to make sure we're investing so people generally can support themselves and support themselves here. So that's why I'm running. I just think we need more people fighting for us and making sure we get real investment in our communities and our neighborhoods. It's my home, and that's why I'm running.
Right. thank you. Is there any questions anyone want to ask him?
What you gonna do for us?
Yes, what are you gonna do for us?
So when you say what do for us, what do you?
This facility, this building.
Well, I can't say specifically because I don't know what your issues are, so I'd like you to tell me what you'd like me to do.
Go ahead,
I can
Joan. Excuse me.
I got one question. When it come down to seniors.
Yes, ma'am.
And you guys distribute things to us. As why is everything that y'all want to distribute to us either is outdated or is gonna be outdated 2 days after you give it to us? It's a question that I know you can't answer, and it's an unfair question to you. But keep that in the back of your head, so when you do get into office, you may be able to find out why, when they give us something free, it's either you have to use it in 2 days, or it's already outdated.
Got it. You mean like the guides or communication?
No, I'm talking about when they send us food and stuff and packages and stuff, it's gotta be used, or it's already outdated,
Okay.
or it's gotta be used at a certain time, or it's not something that I can go to the grocery store and get off a shelf.
Got it. Well, who usually delivers?
It's like package things, you
Okay.
know? Like, I'm just saying something that you might wanna keep in the back of your mind.
Yes, ma'am.
As seniors.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we do get things freely given to us.
Yeah.
But sometimes the things that we freely given to us are outdated.
Yeah, and that's
I said it was an unfair question to you.
well, no, it's not unfair. It's how we. So
Find out what the needs are.
yeah, it's how I find out what the needs are, but also so the way I'm approaching public service is that I think that we being us as citizens, as members who are elected to represent you, we work for you, and so I should be treating you and everyone else like I want my kid, my daughter, my grandmother, everyone to be treated. So if it's an issue, I have to know about it, and so on my brochure, on the back of it, that's my cell phone number. So if there's any issue, if there's something I need to know about, you can call me and I'll get back to you. It rings to my cell phone, or if you text it. And so this is just an issue that I'm glad you brought to my attention that I will need to learn about.
Just keep it back there.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not, I said it's an unfair question to you.
Yes, ma'am.
What I'd like you to do at this point is tell everyone how we can get in touch with you, and if they would like to help or anything like that.
Terrific. Thank you very much for having me. You can get in touch with me at my website, www.terrell, Terrell, BostonSmith, BostonSmith.com. You can also email me at tbs@terrellbostonsmith.com, or you can just call my cell phone at 443-540-3807. And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here, and don't hesitate to call me.
You're always welcome to come back. When we have a nice crowd, they can get to know who you are. We've got a lot of new people running for offices these days, so it's good that you stopped by. Thank you.
So the younger the blacker you are, I'm interested in, no pun intended.
no pun
But we
intended.
need younger black men to stand up and be counted. You know, we need them in our facilities. We need them to stand up and talk for us, to hear what they push us aside, but they come and campaign.
Well, thank you, Mr. Boston Smith. I wish you all good luck.
Thank you.
And these people do vote in this building, just letting you know.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying.
So take care,
Thank you.
and we'll be right back. So, we've had a wonderful evening so far, but it's time to go. I just want to thank you all for your support and coming out. Bring your friends the next time that we do this. And it's been a pleasure. So welcome to the poetry, and we'll see you next time. If you would like to be a guest on the Great Blacks in Wax Open Forum, call the number at the bottom of the screen. Join us. If you have an interesting anecdote to share with us, or if you have something you want to promote from your community, just give us a call.